Welcome back to Prevail with Justice. I am your girl, Geraldine, last name Langford. And thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, welcome. And right now, I want you to go ahead and share this with a friend. Share it with a friend, a cousin, auntie, brother, sister, whatever. Okay, somebody. Share it with somebody. Okay, because today is going to be really good. So, I have been reading this book called The Three Questions, and it's all about learning who you are and all of the things that influence that, right? And a lot of it has been confirmation of philosophies that I've had within myself, beliefs, theories that I've had within myself. But this one particular quote from the book was just really, really good. So I am going to call this particular series Clearing Out the Notes. Okay. And before I get into this, I want to talk about why I'm calling it Clearing Out the Notes. Um, so many times I have been given ideas, I have been given thoughts, I have been given speeches, all of these different things, right? And I write them down or I will record myself saying it, talking through it, whatever the case. But for the most part, I've gotten it out somewhere, but I never really put it out, right? And now that the window and the time has come for me to be pulled out of my stuff and to come out of my trance and to be here and deliver those messages, I have found myself several times being like, oh, I don't have anything to say. All these different things, right? Um, but that's not true. It's not true. I have many a thing to say. I have many an idea. And they're all in my notes. They're all in my notes. So, in this season, we're going to go back through those things and we're going to put them all out. Okay. You cannot have anything, you cannot be given anything new until you get the old out. Right. Right. So, the series is clearing out the notes. And if you need to go through a season of clearing out your own notes, by all means do that. You could be clearing out your closet, you could be whatever it is. Clear the doorway, clear the path. All right. So, just do that. Clear the path and clear it with me. All right. You're not alone. So let's get into it. Boom. So I want to start off with a quote from the book, The Three Questions. And it says, we can, however, take charge of our own dream. There is a lot that comes before that, and I don't have the book with me as a reference. So I really can't even go back to it, at least not right now. I might have a screenshot in here somewhere. I don't. So we're just going to start there. We can't have the dream as reality until we question our current reality and revisit our dream. I'm going to say that again. We can't have the dream as reality until we question our current reality and revisit our dream. I feel like I went through a space in my own life where I had a dream, but I wasn't really sure if the dream was my dream or if I was dreaming for someone else. And so when I read this quote, how we can, however, take charge of our own dream, I was like, well, you can't really take charge of your dream and make it reality until you revisit where that dream came from and question your reality now and in the time that you had the dream. So before revisiting and questioning reality, we dream and exist on our programmed beliefs of who we are, not who we truly are. So, what does that mean? If you think about who you've known yourself to be, if you're not like a fully self conscious person, if you think about who you've known yourself to be, the synonyms, the adjectives that follow your name or precede your name when being introduced or talked about, they're all from someone else's perspective, right? So if you're an introvert, someone may say, oh, they're shy, or oh, they just don't talk a lot. But you could very well have a lot to say. You're just introverted, so it doesn't come out verbally. It may come out through writing, it may come out through pictures. It may come out through body language, but that doesn't mean that you're a shy person. Someone, if you're short or if you're more petite, you may have been described all your life as small. And so if you've always been described as small, but you have these seemingly big things that you want to do, you can hinder yourself by believing and telling yourself that you're a small person. Oh, I'm small. I can't do that. That's big. And I'm small. Child, that is so far from the truth. Just because your physical body may be small, that does not mean that your purpose or your thoughts or your dreams have to be that too. Just because you are quiet in nature does not mean that you cannot roar spiritually. You cannot roar mentally. You cannot roar in other ways. You can still roar. You're not shy. You're not quiet. You're just more of a concealed person. That does not mean that you cannot do these bigger things. So I say all of that to say, when you think about your dream and what you've been dreaming, you have to think about the person that you were and why you haven't achieved it. Okay. So let's just change our position and develop a perspective of reality. And okay, it's like, all right, girl, you saying this, but how? So I have 3 points. Three, Lord, that's two. I have three. We have 3 points to starting to discover reality and beliefs. Okay. And at this point, these are all things that like I put in my notes or thought about as a result of reading this one particular line or passage. So, 3 points to starting the discovery of your reality and your beliefs. One is fears, two is self talk, and three is triggers of happiness or anger. Geraldine, what does this have to do with anything? I'm about to break it down for you. So, follow me because, yes. So, number one, fears. How do fears play into discovering your reality or your beliefs? The subconscious mind is very powerful. And let me write that down, child, because I will forget to come back to that topic. The subconscious mind is just so complex in so many different ways. And we're going to talk about that on its own. Hopefully, I can have somebody with me to talk about the subconscious mind. So if you know somebody, send this to them. Okay. Um, One is fears. We have so many subconscious underlying fears that we have developed throughout our lifetime that ultimately are a result of our environment. And a lot of times, God bless our parents, our siblings, our aunts, cousins, uncles, all of them, our elders, they can project their fears onto us. And it's not that they want us to be hindered, but a lot of times it is for safety. Your parents may tell you growing up, oh, don't go to this area, it's bad. Don't go do this, it's bad. But oh, you know what? I'm going to stop right there. Let's talk about Moana. Okay. Moana was told not to go out into the water because of something that happened to her ancestors, right? She was told not to go, but she was called to go into the water. Something kept pulling her to the water, and she found her peace, her happiness. She found strength in the water. But her village, her family, her support, everybody around her projected a fear of the water onto her. So she subconsciously believed that she couldn't do it until she had the awakening and had gained greater knowledge to determine that she had nothing to fear. She was just going to have to go out and search. And she did. So that's what you're going to have to do in this instant. You're going to have to address your fears. And fears speak to comfort, which leads to limitations. What limits were you given growing up or just throughout life? Um, what places of comfort did you have? Was it a foreign thing for you to go out with your friends? Was it a foreign thing for you to go to certain parts of, say, your city or your area, your town, whatever the case? Was it a limit for you to? Did you get to travel? Let's talk about that. Did you get to travel when y'all, you know what? Just literally small everyday things. For me, I could not go out with my friends. I couldn't. I could not. I was very much sheltered. And shout out to all of my friends in high school, middle school, all of y'all. Because baby, I was like, I can't go to them, but they can come to me. So we're gonna have a cookout, we're gonna have a sleepover, all of the things. Um, and so for me, a limit that I learned was like going out and having fun. Like I began to see it as a bad thing because I was conditioned to view it that way. But thank God for change because I'm not that person anymore. But that was a fear. And it was a fear that derived from comfort, which derived from my upbringing, which is another part of where your fears come from. So, like I said, if you were sheltered, you may have fears of like interacting with certain people or going to certain places, but that doesn't mean that it's true. And it could also be hindering you from your level of dreaming. Y'all know that TikTok, if you're on social media, then you know you're thinking small. You need to be thinking big. You thinking small because your parents and everybody else have conditioned you to be afraid of these things. Or maybe you saw it and you were afraid of it because you didn't know what it looked like, or you didn't know what it was like, or they were like, oh, for example, poor people love to talk down on the rich, but it's like there's so much money out here, anybody could be rich. So if you grow up like, oh, they think they all of that because they got this car, they this and that. Like, first of all, that's you're hating. Okay. Let's get out of that scarcity. Okay. Because you can be rich too. You just have to learn. And so maybe that is a learned behavior and it derives from fear, from a place of insecurity, a place from starvation. So all of those things are negative emotions, and those negative emotions very much impact our reality and ultimately impact our beliefs, which impacts our ability to see ourselves in a certain place in our minds. And if we are limited in our minds, we are limited in reality. Y'all know that. Number 2 is self-talk. And I'm going through this very quickly. So if you need to slow it down, watch it again, by all means, please do so. I just don't want y'all to be held up on here talking to me, okay? But number 2 is self talk. What we believe about ourselves is evident in the way that we speak to ourselves after we mess up. I want you to take that in. What we believe about ourselves is evident in the way we speak to ourselves after messing up. Wherever you are right now, I want you to think about it. If you drop something or if you drop something and you break it, what is your immediate response? If you make an accident or a mistake, what is your response? And in response, I mean verbally, but I also mean energetically. Like, what is your feeling? So I'll give an example. For me, if I mess something up, I'd be like, dang, it ain't nothing. Well, is it something I can do to fix it? If not, I'm very sorry. Sorry is not going to fix it, but I'm very sorry. Like, I shouldn't have done that. What can I do to prevent it next time? I am very I like to be preventative, so I'm a very cautious person. So that is what my self-talk is like. But at the same time, that can be a limit, right? But if you mess up and you say, I'm always messing things up. I'm such a failure. I'm such a mess up. I screw up everything. I can't do anything right. That is so negative. Child, that is so negative. If you are talking to yourself that way, you are you, right? If you are talking to yourself that way, you have already set the bar so low. Why would anybody else not talk to you like that? Let's be for real. Let's be for real. Like, only certain amount of people are going to tell you to be gentle with yourself or like, dang, like it's okay. And if someone on the outside is being like, it's okay, like you just messed up. Now they're going to be looking at you like, baby, what you got going on? Because it was not that deep. Like, it's okay. It's all right. If you feel bad, if you're compassionate, that shows your heart. But a lot of it is how you feel. You have to be mindful of how you talk to yourself because it all starts with yourself. Like, do you think that you're a cool person? Do you think that you're beautiful or handsome? Do you think that you are worthy of things, whatever those things are? Like, do you think you're worthy of love? Do you think you're worthy of happiness? Do you think you're worthy of even being able to dream? Like, let's be for real. Let's be for real. What do you think about yourself? Do you think you're cool? Do you even like yourself? I'm not talking about your body image. I'm not talking about your dialect. I'm not talking about the hair on your head. I'm talking about who you are within. Who you are within, like how you feel. Do you like yourself? Are you happy? If you're not, you can very much change that. But the way that you talk to yourself is most of the time a reflection of the way that people talk to you growing up. And though you cannot change the past, you can change the future. But you have to get out of this victim mindset, right? So if you are one of those people who are like, oh, I mess up everything, like I can't do anything right, and it's very negative, it's all negative. Um, 9 times out of 10, when you were little, like somebody just did not like they made you feel bad for any mistakes that you made. Like it was met with aggression. Your mistakes were met with aggression, and they weren't. Lord, slow down. And they weren't made with grace. You weren't given grace or shown grace. So ultimately, you grew up to just be very hard on yourself for being human. Like for being human. Um, and if you are that person, I'm very sorry. I'm sorry that you weren't given that grace and you weren't taught to um have mercy on yourself and on other people, because 9 times out of 10, if you're like this with yourself, you're like this with other people as well. I'm very sorry, and I hate that that was your experience. But I also want to let you know that there is an opportunity for you to redeem yourself if you so choose to do so in your mind. It's not going to be easy, but you have to choose your heart. Do you want to continue living this life hating yourself and everyone else around you and just living in misery? Or do you want to choose the heart where you stand up for yourself and you decide that I want to have a better relationship with myself and I want more out of life, so I'm going to change the way that I talk to myself? That's the thing. You can do that. You can do that. You should do that. So choose your heart, okay? Because your dreams and your reality are contingent upon the way that you choose to talk to yourself and the way that you choose to view yourself. Number 3 is triggers of anger or happiness. Happiness, anger, whichever. Um, tomato, tomato, you know? So I want you to think about what makes you happy and what makes you angry. If I'm talking to someone and it's just an empty conversation and I haven't had coffee, I'm probably going to be really spaced out. But if someone talks about the mind, or if they talk about health and wellness, they start talking about natural remedies, things pertaining to metaphysical healing and things like that, I don't need coffee, baby. I am awake. Things pertaining to speaking, propelling yourself in life, they start talking about purpose and matters of things that are beyond this tangible physical realm, like purpose and drive, happiness, what gets you going, motivation. Baby, I am awake. I am awake. I am very much a part of the conversation and I am refreshed. I am happy. That is something that triggers happiness for me. And so that is how I know where my dreams lie, in conversations that make me happy, in matters that make me angry, like things when we start talking about medicine, health, and wellness. That is a trigger of happiness and anger for me. So that is very much something that plays into my reality, my beliefs, my dreams. And so as you are questioning your current reality and who you are, what dream you want to dream, and if your dream, oh my gosh, sorry y'all, I sound really nasally. If your dream is in fact your dream, you will find out at the end of walking through these three things with yourself. If they are not, you will, in these three things, be able to begin the journey of figuring out what your true dreams are and who you really are. So those three things, once again, and I'm gonna give you homework. The three things that you need to do. 1, write down your fears, all of them. If you are afraid of airplanes, if you are afraid of bugs, if you are afraid of um or even things that you say no to. When you say no, ask yourself why. If someone asks you to go to this thing, why are you saying no? Don't be like, oh, I just want to say no. I just don't feel like it. Okay, if you don't feel like it, that's fine. But if you can, keep track of all the times that you say no or all of the times that you don't really want to do a thing. You're not excited about it. Write that down. That's going to be like a sub bracket for like fears and no. All right. Write down those things, your fears and things that you say no to for various reasons. And I say that from like an observatory observation. Yes, you're gonna say that you're gonna write these things down from a viewpoint of observation. So I want you to study yourself and write down your fears and the things that you say no to. That's number one. Number two, the way that you talk to yourself. Not the conscious affirmations, but the things that you think about and like the things that you do, right? So if you walk past the mirror one day and you like, dang, wow, I'm pretty. Okay, that's what you think about yourself. But if you look at yourself and be like, I wish I was pretty. I wish I looked like this. I wish I looked like that. That's normal and that's okay. Cause for a long time, baby, I had body dysmorphia. I don't know where it came from, but I did. And I think I still do a little bit. It's something that I'm working on. That's okay. Everything is normal. All of these things are normal, okay? So I don't want you to feel like it's not. But I want you to keep track of what is a reality and a norm for you. So write down the way that you talk to yourself. That's number two. And number three is write down your triggers of happiness and anger. Happiness and anger. I'm not talking about your road rage in traffic or whatever the case. That's not what I'm talking about. But conversations or ideas or thoughts. If someone's talking about an outfit and it makes you happy, write that down. If it's beauty, you get excited, write that down. These things are going to show you who you are in reality. The fears are going to show you who you may have been conditioned to be and where your limitations are with yourself and with your dreaming. You're thinking small and you need to be thinking big, but you can't think big until you figure out where the parameters are that are keeping you thinking small. And a lot of it is yourself or the way that you were raised and you just don't know it. So we're going to make you aware of those small parameters. So, friend, you can enlarge your territory and think big. That is all I have for y'all today. I hope that you really, really enjoyed it. I feel a lot better getting that out, baby. I can clear these notes out now because I got it out. And next week, I will be back with something else to clear out of the notes. So until next time, always remember that where the spirit guides, the mind creates. And where the mind goes, the body follows. And I will see you guys and talk to you guys in the next episode next week. Love y'all. Bye.